Hey, what is up guys? And today we're going to be talking about how you guys should be building your Green Landy. Now Green Landy is currently running extremely powerful unit. I definitely recommend getting her over the collaboration units from Guilty Gear and ReZero just because you'll just get a lot more usage out of her. She's extremely powerful for both PvE and PvP, and she's just a very fun unit to play around with. Basically how you want to build her, guys, there's a lot of ways you can build her, but the most common way people will build her is going to be a tanky bruiser on Guiding Light, which is Cerese's artifact. If you guys do not have access to this artifact, you're going to want to build her a little bit more tankier and run her probably on something like Bloodstone or even like a Proof of Valor if you want. But for the most part, you know, Guiding Light will be her best in-slot artifact. Now for her sets, definitely want to run Speed set, and the secondary set is either going to be Penetration or Critical Hit Chance. It depends on what you have, but Penetration is really good because her S1 hits very hard. And for stats, guys, it's really up to you, but I personally like to run her on a more tankier variant, so at least like 15k health, and you kind of want to up the defense to 1k, and at the bare minimum you want 3000 attack with 100% crit chance and 250 crit damage. Some people like to run her faster and squishier with more damage for more aggressive comps, but because I like to play her in a more standard playstyle, I have her on a more tankier, slower build, albeit I am missing out on a lot of defense here. Definitely want to max her out though on her skills because yeah, they're very good and she hits extremely hard with every single skill. And yeah, the way you want to play her is basically, like I said, as an opener or a secondary opener in Cleave with her S3 CR pushing and doing a lot of AoE damage with speed buff, or as like a main damage dealer surrounded by Soul Weavers and Knights to actually protect her. And that's why you like Guiding Light, because Guiding Light can actually give her more survivability with that stealth, right? Now, if you guys do not have Guiding Light, like I said, and you have like Proof of Valor or Bloodstone, some people like to run her on a counter set instead of speed set, which is still viable. But it's really up to you how you want to play her. There's so many ways to play her, and this is just the way that I like to do it at around like 230 speed with 3k attack at least and 250 crit damage, and the rest into bulk. But if you want to play her as a more faster unit, that is primarily up to you. Landy is extremely good for autoing arena as well, so if you guys are looking to actually climb in arena ranking, she's extremely powerful, right? Just surround her with 3 supporting units, like I said, on a semi-tanky build. And you're actually going to see, if I just completely auto this, it's going to be a free win. She's super good against very tanky teams because of how her S2 will ramp up her damage here. And you'll just see that she just does crazy damage. Even against this very common team that we see on the right here, you're going to see that she can take it down pretty easily. She's very good against like Savior Adians as well because of that stealth from Guiding Light to help her out. And she cannot really trigger counterattacks with her S3, which makes her very strong. And even against like Ikarinas, she gets a lot of benefit out of having the defense buff and the barrier on the enemy side because she will proc her S3 upgraded attack faster, and also be able to penetrate the defense. So Ikarina will actually be very squishy here. So here I have her surrounded with Rowana and Decina. Honestly, you can use like any 2 Soul Weavers, preferably one with high effect resist to cleanse like AOLs and stuff like that and debuffs. And with a Knight that holds Aureus, so I have SC Pillars here. You can literally use like Aros or anything, and you should be okay for the most part. Just really depends on what you want to use. SC Arrowell is also very good if you want to use her here as well. But I do have Pillars here to kind of just be the light bait here and soak all the damage, and also just be very tanky because of her defense buff on herself, as you guys can see here. Even with the provoke, you're going to see it doesn't really matter because, yeah, she starts ramping super hard, and after like 3 or 4 turn cycles, you're going to notice that she does crazy damage, as you guys can see in the following turns here with her S3. So we're going to see the counters are coming out. Even without an attack buff, you're going to see that this S3 will hit pretty hard. This is going to be, I think, 3 stacks if I'm not mistaken after this. And because the escort buff is in effect, like, you're going to notice that the SC Airwell is soaking a lot of it, but eventually just with the auto, you're going to just completely win out, so you just have to wait. And I do get a lucky dual attack here, which procs Ikarina once again. But keep in mind, this is just food for Landy's S3, so she's very good into these buff heavy teams, especially because she can, you know, get those stacks very fast and just do incredible damage. Like, she's S3ing every turn here. And yeah, my Landy isn't even that great because I don't have her optimized on crazy gear. But yeah, she is doing a lot of work. And as you can see, like, this SC Airwell will die here very soon. So but yeah, as you guys can see, you know, it is kind of long. Her ramping does take some time, especially if you run her around a lot of these support units. But with this strategy, especially as you're going up to champion, where there's not as many people you know, hitting your defenses and lowering your points so frequently, you should be able to climb pretty easily with just Landy. She is so strong. Obviously, you can swap out the units around her depending on the enemy side, right? If they don't have counterattacks, you don't really need Rwana. But, you know, Landy with just 3 support units is crazy in arena offense. As you guys can see here, you can just fully auto this battle and just, you know, Alt-tab or look at your phone and do something else and just keep going through your flags that way and climbing. So she's very good for arena climb. Landy's also very good in Guild Wars offense, as you guys will be able to see here. She just takes down pretty much the same thing as arena, just like buff heavy teams. Very good against Karina, who is very strong in the current Guild Wars meta and the arena meta, as you guys saw in defense, and just makes her very strong because of the fact that she can literally just maybe not auto through, because Guild Wars does have a lot more, you know, weird builds and trap builds, but you can see that in Guild Wars, because they do sometimes take a while, she will do crazy damage and be able to do you a lot of work. And I think her speed buff is really important here in the Guild Wars meta, because yeah, it just lets your units take a lot more turns, and in the cases where you get surprised by very fast units, the speed buff kind of makes up for it sometimes. So speed buff, very strong buff, and the fact that Landy has an AoE to her team on such a heavy hitting attack is just pretty crazy to me. So yeah, you're gonna see Landy does do a lot of work. Basically, we'll be S3ing almost every turn here, maybe every other turn, but it's very good because of yeah, just the fact that the right side has a lot of defense with that Karina, right? And yeah, just pretty much the same thing as arena. You just surround her with 2 support units, usually a knight with Aureus, and also a unit that can hold, or not hold Aureus, I already said that, healer, because Landy does lack sustain, which is going to be her biggest weakness, and you're pretty much good to go. And for the most part, she can solo DPS pretty much anything. You just have to be careful of things that can dispel her guiding light stealth, or even units that can AoE her out of her stealth as well, such as like Bellion and stuff like that. But yeah, you're gonna see she does make light work, especially against Karina teams and defense buff using teams with Valencia as well, because her S3 does penetrate defense, and yeah, this just does a lot of damage. So pretty much a free one after, even though my S3 from crowd didn't kill, because Landy is at full stacks now, so she's just gonna do a lot of work here, and just pretty much one shot Karina almost. And yeah, like I said, my Landy isn't anything crazy, so if you build yours better, you will get a lot better results. So pretty decent unit. Definitely recommend using her for PvP. She's extremely powerful, as you guys can see. And for PvE, she's also strong as well, which we'll showcase, or actually show you guys right now as well. For PvE guys, for you guys who are new to the game and are overwhelmed with the amount of limiteds we have, if you guys are wondering why I say she's so good, not only is Landy just good for PvP, but you can use her in Hades, you can use her in Azanak, you can use her in Banshee, so 3 of the 5 hunts. Even in Golem she can work, so you can actually use her in 4 of the 5 hunts. You can also use her in pretty much most of the bosses for a raid. You can use her in all of Automaton Tower. She's one of the best damage dealers here. She is very good in Spirit Altar if you're still struggling to beat the hardest stage. She's extremely powerful for Abyss, even in the late floors. Once you get to like floor, even 110 and higher, you can use Landy for a lot of them. You can also use her in Hall of Trial, she's very good, and she's just good pretty much everywhere that you need her. She's also pretty good in Adventure Mode, wherever you guys are stuck at, until, even until like Zeo, if you guys are still struggling with that. So yeah, pretty powerful unit overall. Definitely recommend pulling for her guys and building her. She's super strong. Even though her artifact is not that great, the unit herself is definitely worth pulling for. You guys saw that I have her SSS because yeah, I use her pretty much everywhere, and she's always going to be good in PvP, even though she has counters, because of how much raw damage she can do, and because she's a ranger and she can use Guiding Light, which is a very powerful artifact. Hope you guys found this video helpful, guys, and as always, if you guys want to see more content like this, consider subscribing, and also hit that like button to help me out on that YouTube algorithm. Peace.